One.
Take one and only.
Yeah, we don't. Clearly, it's obvious if you're one of the 3 people that watch that we're not into more than one take.
Is that, do we just do like a, both of us did an introduction this time?
Yeah, I mean, yeah.
Yeah, I checked out last week's video and we had like 40 views or something, which is pretty good.
It's like 61 right now.
Oh, it is?
Mm-hmm.
It's like 60 views and we lost 90% of them within the first 30 seconds. So if you're still watching this, we're at 49 seconds, so you're probably like one of the...
You're above average.
Yeah, you can...
Yeah.
But it's like we take pretty crappy video.
Yeah.
But I guess I'd like to think it's not really about the video, it's about what we're saying. But I get it, a lot of people are watching this on YouTube and that's a visual thing.
Yeah, for sure. I get it.
But it's kind of funny. You ever think about that? Like, if I watch Joe Rogan, I don't mind watching it on YouTube, but I don't mind listening to it on the radio either.
Yeah, either way. I don't either.
But I don't know that I get more out of it when I watch. You know what I mean? Like, I feel like I can listen just the same.
Yeah, there's not a lot going on. I mean, they do switch the camera back and forth.
Yeah, and I think that's what we lack here, right?
Yeah.
You're looking at the side of my head all the time.
They do have that, and they have James or Jimmy or... Jamie behind the scenes doing his thing, bringing stuff up on the TV. But yeah, other than that, it's very... you can definitely just listen to it on Spotify, and it's pretty much the same feel.
Yeah. But I don't know, I guess maybe watching this at home on your couch is not that interesting unless you enjoy our content, which our content's pretty amazing, I think.
It is, but we're also a podcast, so you can listen to us on the radio.
Yeah, but what is this 50? Number 50?
No, we're at 48. We're just getting close to 50.
We've done 48 podcasts, and yeah, we're growing because last week we're at like 60, so...
Yeah, last I checked, it was 61. Although I don't know if you remember me saying, oh my gosh, we have so many certain views. And then I looked again and then it said we had 0.
Yeah.
So I don't know what's happening.
Well, everything's fake is what's happening.
61 views. We only have 8 views from last
time. Oh, okay. So we just had a really great video. Yeah. Okay, so... Well, do you have any big thoughts going on right now? Anything you want to talk about?
I'm kind of really into like this leadership thing I just finished. That's like the thing that's most present on my mind, and being a active listener and being compassionate and learning how to like build people up rather than, just expect something of people for money. So that's kind of what's been on my mind. But also, I've been curious what our audience thinks about the state of the world. Like, if they feel the same way we do. Like,
I think that's an interesting thought, because I was talking to our neighbor today, and I don't know what, he was talking about, I want Biden out. And I didn't bring it up, but I was just kind of wondering, he's like, I'm sick of it. Like, I feel like he's ruining everything and everything's crazy. And, of course I'm like, yeah, I mean, dude, we have a value meal at Burger King that's $14. It's like,
yeah,
like things aren't going great, I guess, just financially, right? But it's also other things, right? Like it seems like there's chaos and there's... Well, I mean, that was my thing, and I guess I don't really want to make us political, but well, who cares? He's like, I want Biden out, and like I don't like Biden either. I want him out, but then that's when I was talking to him about Trump. Like, I don't mind Trump as a president, and I think his policy making's okay. You know, I think he brings strength, and I mean that's debatable. But the thing that he doesn't do good is he doesn't bring people together. He divides people really badly. And what's the problem with our country right now? Well, there's a lot. And financially is huge. We've got big financial problems that I don't even know if we can recover from, to be honest with you.
Yeah.
And maybe Trump could get in there and he could fix. Let's just say he's an angel and he can get in there and he can fix all this financial stuff. He's going to tear us up as far as division goes. If he gets
Yeah.
in, it doesn't matter how good he corrects this country. If he's perfect at correcting the country, he's still going to divide the people, and that's just as bad as financially screwing us like Biden's doing.
Yeah.
So it's like, well, you know, that's what I was talking about. I was like, well, what are we going to do? You know, what are we going to do? Well, and the RFK, you know, he seems decent, but we're stuck in this independent person running, and people want Trump, and it's just like, what are we going to do? But it's kind of what I was wondering with him too. Is I don't feel like anybody's people are talking, like people are like, ooh, yeah, kind of rough out there. But people aren't being honest. I don't feel like people are like, I'm out of money. Like I am fucked. I don't think people are being that honest. I think people are like kind of like hanging on, like everything's okay, but it's not great, you know. Like, but everybody's like stressed out, but nobody's like being honest, I don't think.
Yeah.
You know, and I wonder if some of that's the news because I don't think the news, well, I don't know, I don't watch the news, so I shouldn't speculate. But I don't think anybody's really being honest about how bad we are financially. Like there was a guy asking about. He's like, "Hey, I've got my E30 for sale, and nobody's even biting it. I think I have a really good price on it." And it's like, I don't think any of you guys are paying attention because I don't think anybody's buying anything. I don't
Yeah.
think it has anything to do with your price. I just think there's no buyers for a lot of things right now.
Well, I thought it was really weird just all of a sudden last week or the week before in our neighborhood, which is a huge, like, I'd call it farming type. I don't know what you call it. Like miles
Rural.
of country roads. I saw about 6 vehicles for sale in their yards and just out of the blue, all of them at once.
Yeah.
And they're nice. Like one of them, this dude had a Chevy pickup that's lowered. I don't know if you've seen it, black, big, huge tires and rims. It's a good looking vehicle. I mean, some of them are like, these people probably still owe money on these cars, I'm imagining. But I thought that was interesting. And I feel like a theme that I have been seeing in the last week has been one about social media. I have seen a lot about how social media is like impacting our society. And it could be my algorithm. The only thing I look at is a news feed that I have on my Google because I have no social media at all. Um and I watch YouTube and it's very much geared to spirituality or self-help. So I don't know if the Google gods heard me talking about it with you, but I've seen a lot about it lately and the impact it's having on our children, the impact it's having on them, yes, attention wise, but also what they see as successful and
Mm-hmm.
popular is having likes and having money and
It's all fake.
having makeup and a big booty and like yeah, what it's turning our world into all around. So we have this political thing, we have AI coming in, we have financial stuff, we have this crazy social media that has totally made it hard for people to concentrate. It could be a cause of depression. You know, I was watching an Eckhart Tolle video last night and I cut it off before you saw that part, but he went on to talk about, you know, why you're here. Please just keep your phone to a minimum because it can really impact your awareness. It can
No.
take from your awareness. And if you're on a journey to become more aware and figure things out, it's probably a good idea to put it down. But yeah, I know that was a lot, but
Well, but it seems like, you know, I think we were listening to Joe Rogan, and he was talking about when he's saying something like there's like a jet that you can rent to just take pictures in or something.
that wouldn't surprise me.
And so people were like taking pictures like they're in their private jet and posting it on social media, and tons of people were doing this. And so, it's all like fake too, is like, and then you just go like, well, dude, what am I doing? Well, you're fine, but it just looks like everybody else is doing great, but it's all a lie. And that's what we've been like. We're pretty aware of that too, how much stuff is a lie. So if you're taking pictures on a jet that you rented for 10 seconds to take a picture, that's a lie. You're lying. But we're starting to sell on Amazon, and I've been advertising on Amazon, and we're just starting out, so we've gotten 0 sales. And I've been spending whatever, $40 a day, $50 a day on advertising. And then I cut it off today, and they're like, oh, well, if you'd spend $20 a day, you would have had like $400 in sales. And it's like, well, that's a lie.
It is a lie.
That's a lie, because I just did. Yeah. I spent double what you're saying, and I got 0. So you're lying to me.
Yeah, these are all ways that they trick people into
their
spending money.
Yeah. Their lies. But then we've got this program that reads other Amazon sellers and tells you how much they've sold and all that. Mm-hmm. And now we're looking at our sales on this program, and it's lying to us about our own sales. And so we're like, oh, well, that's funny, because we just have been calculating everything we're doing based on this program being accurate.
Yeah.
That's a lie.
It's a lie.
It's all a lie. Everything's just full of lies.
It is. It's reality bending for sure, and it's manipulating people to do things. It's a crazy fucking world. But even more than that, there's happiness to be found in not like spending a lot of money on things. And I mean, we're pushing people like to be in this perpetual never ending, you're never going to find happiness, because you need to keep buying these things. You need the next iPhone, you need the best shoes, you need the current car, you need the Range Rover. It's impossible.
Well, and do you think that's why? I mean, that's got to be some of why nobody's talking about how bad things are too, right? Because nobody wants to be the guy that's like, dude, I'm broke.
I can't afford this Range Rover anymore.
Like, I can't afford groceries.
Yeah.
I can't afford groceries. Like, nobody wants to be the guy that admits that, do they? I mean, it used to be like people used to always admit that kind of thing, I think. And now it's like we're all flossing so hard that we can't admit that we're anything but more than like luxurious and buying everything we want. I feel like
what's so weird is we see people that are buying whatever they want.
Yeah, but
living beyond their means.
Yeah, but I think if you had the inside scoop, you'd see the struggle.
Well, I think for sure, I have no doubt. I think a lot of people live off credit cards, like recycling that credit card debt, and they think that there's like it's going to come to an end, so they're like just keeping it rather than going like if they knew that this was going to last for 10 years, I don't think that they would be living this way even just a few years. But
I think you're seeing things much brighter than I am. I don't think this is a couple of, I think this is like right now, I think if you are going in debt and I think you're digging a hole right now that you will never get out of.
Yeah.
You will never get out of. I think right now it's so important to take your resources that you do have and try to maintain or try to build something. If you're out there spending money on fucking
Garbage.
jeans that have rhinestones on the back pockets, you know, in a year you might regret that because you're probably going to be like wanting something like that's what I'm saying. Like invest in something like we did, like some chickens. We invested in chickens. We invested in hydroponics. You know, invest in something that'll make you money, like a tool or a tractor or a sewing machine, or you know, invest in things that make money. Is the way I see it right now. If you're out there just buying a car, I don't know what you're going to do when everybody's done giving you money. You owe a bunch of money, and now you can't make any more money. Like now that's where poverty comes from.
Yeah, so here's a suggestion. I don't know if you'll agree with me, but maybe if you're in a financial situation and you're having like you know you're addicted to spending money, I think some things you could do is because it could be hard, right? If that's the way you're used to living, to quit living that way. So I think like shifting your focus on yourself and like I don't know, you could already be doing this, but like start working out a few days a week
Oh,
and
it's always a good idea.
like set yourself a goal that like just for this week I'm going to live within my means and just start small. And then when you finish this week, take it to the next week. And I think, I think yoga, you talk about that all the time. And so some people don't like cardio or strength training. So I think yoga would be an amazing thing because not only are you going to get the physical, you get that meditation part of it, which I think if you're needing a distraction from spending, that would be a perfect
The thing about yoga, though,
way.
too, is you can do what they call like a yin yoga or like a restorative yoga. And it's literally like taking a nap. You don't even
Yeah.
have to do the cardio part to start out. It's just like stretching and meditating at the same time. The problem is, I think if you get used to that, you're not really going to want to do the cardio part of it, but it would be better than nothing, is my point. But yeah, I mean, it would be a great thing, but I don't know. I see things like getting worse is all I'm saying. And I think you're right. I think you got to take care of yourself, but you know, I sell things to people, and the one way I know people are struggling is because people are less and less wanting to buy my things and they're more wanting to trade my things.
Yeah.
They always want to trade me for something because they don't have the money, but they've got stuff sitting there. But what I'm getting a lot now too is okay, I'll have the money on Friday.
Yeah.
And that freaks me out that if you don't have, say, $100 to buy my thing until payday, man, I think you should hold on to that $100.
Yeah.
Like you gotta, I don't know what I would do. I mean, I guess this is what everybody does, but I can't do it. I don't know how people live paycheck to paycheck. If I had, if it was Friday and I got paid right now and I had 2 weeks worth of money and I knew that 2 weeks worth of money was going to be gone in 2 more Fridays, wow, that to me, that would like the amount of anxiety would be insane. It would
I
be
think a lot of
insane.
people live that way,
I think
paycheck to
most people.
paycheck.
Well, that's what we looked up, right? It wasn't it. Was it 70% of people don't have
Yeah.
$1,000 in the bank or something?
I think yeah, it's a high percentage.
This is the problem. Is how come how come we've all got accustomed to living this way? They would like listen, save $100, put $100. When you live that you're out of money when it comes paycheck time, that's so stressful and you don't even know it probably.
The thing too is I know it can be hard to put away a little of your paycheck, but when that builds up after like 4 checks, it's going to feel amazing having that little security blanket there. And Yeah, I don't know if anyone that's a spender that might be listening to this could even just take a look and recognize that it's just never enough. It's it's a perpetual thing, and it's not giving fulfillment and happiness. And that's
No,
not to say that there aren't people who are fulfilled and happy that have things, but it just shouldn't be coming before your wellness, your livelihood, your savings, your family. Like,
everything.
yeah,
It's a disease. It's something that we've all gotten
it
used to,
is a
where
disease.
we spend everything we have. Like people, that's the funny thing I've always said is like people are actually amazing budgeters. They are amazing because if you can figure out how to spend your last dollar by the time you get paid, you are a really good budgeter. Think about that. I
Yeah,
mean, you're amazing
yeah,
to not go in the hole and not have an extra dollar, exactly zero at paycheck time. That's impressive.
yeah,
The thing you got to understand is you need to move those numbers. You need to move those numbers so you're in the positive instead of at zero. That's all you got to do. But it's kind of like when we talk about like this student debt forgiveness.
yeah.
These people are complaining about student debt and how they can't pay for it while they have the newest iPhone in their hand and the Starbucks in the other one.
True. Yeah.
This is what's insane is like, listen, and I hate to be the one to say this, and I'm sorry if I hurt your feelings. You do not deserve Starbucks and you do not deserve a brand new iPhone if you do not have some money in the bank. That's it. You don't deserve to buy anything besides beans and rice unless you have money in the bank. This is like,
That's
listen,
all you get from this point on is beans and rice.
somebody's got to have a hard talk with these people. Like, you can't run on empty all the time. You're setting yourself up for failure. And especially if you're going in credit card debt, you've got to understand that you're paying. If you buy something for $100, it doesn't cost $100. It costs whatever, 120, 100, depends how long it takes to pay off. It could cost $200.
Yeah.
And you can't do that. You can't pay that much. You're paying for nothing. So stop buying things, build up your bank account, and then buy everything with cash. And you will be so much richer just by doing that. And you already know how to budget. I just went through this with you. So don't, it's not the budget thing. You just have to have some will to say, okay, I'm going to skip my latte. For like, think about this. If people are buying $9 lattes every day, it's almost $300 a month.
Yeah.
Like, this is
That's a
crazy.
student loan payment
This is
for sure.
crazy.
Yeah, and it's weird to me how everything that we talk about could pretty much be started with just inner reflection and awareness.
Yeah.
Because I think it's like we talk about, you're just living a software program. You may not even know that you're addicted to spending money. You'd have to stop and want to look at yourself.
Well, where did this come from? Where did this come from? I mean, I got to say, I was guilty of it like in my teenage years.
Oh, I've been guilty of it for sure.
But you like,
Spending too
well,
much money.
well,
Yeah.
not spending too much money, but literally budgeting how to run out of money every month. You know, like if you get a raise and you're like, okay, so how much more money do I get a month? Well,
Yeah,
I
no,
get
I've been
200
that
extra
person.
dollars a month. And so where can I put this money?
Yeah.
Well, I could buy a new car. Yeah, let's do that. It's
Yeah.
$199 a month. I just made 200 a month, so we're good, right?
And I have $1 left over.
Yeah, which you really don't, because then it ends up like, then you get the insurance on the car or something, and then you get the insurance, or the insurance is more, and like you end up going broke that way. Like, but that's what we're all doing is like, where'd this idea come from? I
But
got to
what
spend every cent that I get
also
immediately.
also that think about how brief the new car excitement is. It's brief.
Well, it shouldn't be brief. That gets on our talk on gratitude. It's a
Well,
lack of gratitude is why it's
I think
brief.
if you had gratitude, you wouldn't be addicted to spending money.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, it's definitely worth a talk. But
Yeah.
I mean, yeah, you buy more things because you run out of gratitude, right? You run out of that high when you could just have that high just by thinking about it.
Yeah, there was this gentleman today at the store, and he just was full of gratitude. And I didn't recognize him, but he was like, "Hey, normally you're smiling. Why aren't you smiling today?" And anyway, he just brought up how grateful he was for his life. And I was, pretty much on the same page as him. And I'm like, yeah, you have a roof over your head, you have a warm, comfortable bed to sleep in at night. Fuck, even if you have a a tiny house or even a dirt floor with a roof over your head, you could be happy. We've lost sight of, it's like that sand guru gentleman said last night. You have a lot going on here, a lot of that you could spend tens of thousands of years discovering yourself.
Yeah.
This intelligence you have that allows you to move and run and jump and, all these crazy things that there are to be grateful for.
Well, it's kind of like I've always laughed because there's these people in my life that they think that you have to have experiences to have memories. And I always chuckle because, like, my thought has always been like, so do poor people not have experiences? Like, poor people that
They
never
don't
go
have
to,
any memories at
they don't
all.
have any memory. It's like if you don't go to Disneyland, you're just like, I have no idea what I did when I was like from age 5 to 20. No idea because I never went to Disneyland, never went to Cancun, I never went anywhere, and so I don't remember anything.
I have to say, I kind of think that poor people could possibly have like even better memories.
There's studies on this. There's studies that people who have less are happy. I think Hispanics, like people straight from Mexico, are a great example of this because a lot of those people come over here and they're so family oriented
They are.
and they work with family, they work with friends, and you see those people at like a park which doesn't cost any money on a Sunday with their family, like grilling chicken or making tacos or whatever they do, you know, and they're happy and
Yeah.
they're smiling and they're having a good time. And that doesn't take any money. And they're all living like 20 people in a one bedroom apartment, because they don't have any money, but they're happy. And they have a bunch of kids because they're all about family. And
Yeah.
then you look at them next to the Americans in the park and they're like, this sucks. But then I brought this up too, that like, we've watched the Hispanics immigrate into this country. At least I have. I remember since the mid '90s, all of a sudden they started showing up, and you're like, where are these people coming from? And then now it's like they've been here for almost 30 years, and you can tell when they've been here for 30 years because, man, I could get in trouble for saying this, but back in the day, there were no fat Mexicans. They were all skinny, poor people. And now they're all Americanized. And so there's a bunch of fat, lazy Mexicans. And they're not as happy because they're Americanized. You give them money and you give them too much, and then all of a sudden they're fat and unhappy like the rest of us. You were better in Mexico, but you didn't realize it. You were happy and skinny then.
Yeah, it's kind of crazy how we have this toxic mess going on here. I was walking around the store today thinking, fuck, this is just, you walk around in a store and it's just idiocracy to me. Like Oreos, Doritos,
Yeah.
soda pop, Red Bull. Like it's just a bunch of here, let me see how stupid I can make you. It's insane. And not that I don't enjoy some of those things sometimes. Like I'd love to have we had blizzards, but I don't do it daily. I don't, it's like a fucking treat.
Well, that's what my point was about. There's a lot of men out there that come home and they don't eat, but they drink a 12 pack.
Yeah.
That's what I'm saying is that's what their diet is beer. And how much nutrients does beer have? Not a lot. So how
Yeah.
how fed is your brain
Here's my
on beer?
compassionate side is people are trying to escape themselves.
Oh, I'm not saying there isn't. There's compassion for people who are eating Oreos all day.
Yeah, for sure.
They're trying to escape, ironically too.
Yeah, no, I agree.
Everybody's trying to escape, but there's no nutrition. You got to have nutrition going to your head, your brain. This is what I'm saying is like, okay, everybody, if you're saying like this guy's a little crazy, get a house plant and crush up some Oreos and put it in the dirt, and then take a Coke and pour it in the dirt. Tell me how the plant goes. Tell me what the plant
a good
thinks.
Experiment, actually. I think that's actually a very wise experiment, because I don't know where we went wrong that it just was all of a sudden okay. I mean, I get it. There was this time that we needed to feed a lot of people.
Yeah.
But it was like that guy was saying, we were watching a Jordan Peterson video the other day, and he was like, but that has done, it's here and gone. Like, we're overabundant in this unhealthy food, and most of it is processed, not good for you, like flour, and they're enriching the flour, milk, and they're putting vitamin D in it because they've sucked out, there's no nutrients in this shit. So they're trying to sprinkle it into things.
Well, that's definitely part of it, but I think the bigger part of it is like you and I have talked about. If we make a protein bar, do you want to make it healthy and not tasty? Or do you want to make it a little bit unhealthy and way tastier? It's what people want. Yeah. People want the worst food. They want the no nutrition. They want cheap. The people are just, listen, if people didn't support Oreos, Oreos wouldn't make Oreos. Oreos would make cabbage or whatever people want to eat. This is what we're demanding. We're demanding deep fried Snickers with ice cream on top of it. That's what we want, America.
You know, it's true. And not only are we demanding that, but like, I think about that. We've talked about how like the fast food joints have to keep like one-upping themselves.
Oh yeah. Yeah.
It's insane.
No, you can't have just French fries. It's gotta be like cheesy bacon, sour cream, like
with
everything.
Doritos.
Yeah, with Doritos instead of French fries. It's just like you have to like keep upping. But that's what we've talked about too. Is this goes back to gratitude also, because this is what I've told you is we don't eat cheat meals all the time. Like, so say we go to Chipotle, I sit there and I go, this is so good, because I never get Chipotle. And then I look around and I go, oh, these people are just here because they didn't know what else to eat. And they don't even enjoy the food. You know what I mean? But that's why you keep upping the game, is because everything else gets so boring.
Yeah.
Like, you can't just have Doritos. You and I eat Doritos and we're like, oh, this is so good. Having this so. But then that's what you're saying is like, no, you got to have Doritos with nacho cheese, and you got to have this and this and this. Got to be whole Doritos, and it's got to be mixed in a bag with like a corn dog or something crazy.
There's Cheetos mac and cheese. Did you know that? I didn't even know that. I saw that today.
We go to the store and we see the craziest thing. Like, the cereals are like they're just.
Oh, there's Cocoa Puff Minis. There's mini Cheerios. You just gotta keep. You're gonna go out of style if you don't like keep trying to make it something new. But fucking just go have a steak.
Just eat some eggs for breakfast. There's no healthy breakfast. Like pancakes, waffles, cereal. When people are eating healthy, you know they're grabbing a bran muffin.
Yeah.
A little tiny bran
I was guilty of that for a while.
Muffins are a big deal, like cupcakes. People eat that shit like it's healthy. You know, or like, how many people are eating protein bars that have as much sugar as a Snickers? You might as well just grab a Snickers.
Yeah, you really have to be careful with protein bars. There's a select few that have low sugar to no sugar in them.
Yeah, but it's just all, I don't know, it's all crazy.
Yeah, it kind of is just this toxic mess that
we're demanding and we're not paying attention to. It boils down to us. That's what I'm saying. Is we're the ones demanding these things. How can you blame anybody else? You're the one
Yeah.
eating it.
So that brings me to my, are they feeling it too? Like, I'm super curious. I'd love for them to comment. And do they notice these things that we notice? Or do you notice something else? Is it even crazier for our audience? Or are they like, what are they talking about? Everything's fine.
Yeah, I think a lot of people don't want to hear what we're saying. Like a lot of people would turn this off because they're like, if you, especially if you're that person that's eating horrible, like you're just gonna turn this off, right?
Maybe, maybe not.
They don't want to hear
Maybe
it.
if you're on that edge of, like, I was a smoker and I had a time where, I quit. I dabbled in quitting. But there's that edge where you're like, I got to do this. And there'll
Well,
be people that are
does
like
that
that.
exist though? I don't know if that. I mean, it does in a very
It
small
exists.
percentage, but a lot of people. I feel like that's actually the problem. Is a lot of people are very happy with being in the system,
I think
just going along with whatever and not
for
trying to
sure.
do anything.
For
Because
sure.
I think in the '80s, I think there was fat shaming, and I think there was no smoking shaming not until mid '90s, and then there was smoking shaming.
There was no sex shame. Don't have sex before marriage. Don't get pregnant in school because you will be shunned and kicked out. You couldn't go to school and be pregnant when I was in high school.
Yeah, I guess you got to think about what's shamed today.
Nothing.
Nothing.
Everything's okay.
No, the only thing that's shamed is shaming, which is ironic.
Yeah.
You can't shame.
Yeah.
Stop shaming. I'm shaming you. You can't shame.
Shame on you for shaming.
Yeah, it's man. We just let everybody be. But this is what happens when you let everybody just be what they want and do what they want. Listen, it should be okay to tell your friend, like, hey, you're putting on a lot of weight. Like, you should ease off the snacks there, chubby. You know what I mean? And like, that's helping them out. It kept us all thin in the 80s and 90s, you know? But now it's just like, hey, man, you want to go get some of those Dorito nacho things? They look really good. And we'll get like a couple of churros and sodas too. Sounds fun. That's what we do now.
I think it
And
is what we do now.
it looks like that's what we do now. I feel bad for kids these days because they're in bad shape.
Well, I think too, just on what you were talking about, even bringing things up kindly to people is not taken easily nowadays. Like, you can't even, like, people get hurt. They're so sensitive. You can't even say, I'm super worried about you. Like, I'm worried. I love you, and I'm worried about your health. And like, a lot of people are not receptive to any sort of even kind concern.
Yeah, I don't know. But I guess this is what you're saying. This is the topic is like, what's going on, everybody? What's going on? How you guys feeling? Maybe we're not talking about the money because everybody's broke. Maybe we're not talking about how overweight we are because everybody's overweight. Maybe we're not talking about anything because nobody wants to admit it. Nobody wants to see it. So we're just ignoring it until it collapses in on us.
Or, I mean, are they so numbed with social media that they've just gone idiocracy completely? Maybe just nobody can see anything at all.
I don't know, man. I don't know if it's just my algorithm or what, but I feel like everybody can see all these lies that they're being told, but they can't see any of the lies they're being told. You know what I mean?
What about the ones they tell themselves?
Yeah, I don't know.
I mean, it's easy to distract yourself. I can look back. I'll be the first to admit, when I first started living with my dad, when I left Alaska, I would distract myself with, like, going to the casino because I was living in a rural area and there wasn't a lot to do. And it's easy to distract yourself with something. Admittedly, it's super easy to do, and I could have been doing other things. I don't really know what they are because there's Woodland has one street, but I could have found something. But
I don't know. I constantly distract myself. I have hobbies and stuff I like to do. And I like to keep busy. I mean, it's a distraction, but it's also like how I enjoy life, you know?
I'm not sure. Like, do you take time to reflect on yourself and grow? And I'm not sure having hobbies. Yeah, I mean, it can be a distraction. I don't think it's the same thing that I'm talking about, really, because you're doing inner work. And
I mean, inner work's a hobby, though.
yeah, for
It
me too.
distracts me, I guess.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, so
You want to try to make it another shorter? Well, this is 40 minutes. Not that short, but maybe call it good. And
yeah, we'll call it good.
okay, we're episode 48.
Woo!
We're doing 50. I mean, we're gonna keep going because Carol said that like almost nobody makes it to 100, so we're just gonna go to 100.
Yeah.
Even if nobody ever watches this, we can say we went to 100, and we are a small percentage of podcasters that will actually do what we're gonna say we're gonna do.
Yeah.
So 48. What have we been doing this more than a year?
Yeah, we lost several of our when we first started, we lost some. So we're technically over 50, but
Oh, we are.
because we started and like we lost probably 5 or 8.
Really? I don't remember that.
Yeah, we did. And we had to start over.
I thought our very first one, which is You're Making It All Up, was our very first one.
I mean, that might have been our first one, but we lost like a few in between.
Wow.
So, but yeah, we're still going with the number that we have now all the way to 100. And
Wow.
yes, we've been doing it over a year.
Yeah, and 100 and beyond. You know, we're obviously doing better. I mean, we've got 60 views 2 weeks ago. Man.
Yeah, we're on fire.
Yeah, and YouTube's going to start recognizing us too.
Yeah. It's going to swoop us up.
Yeah. So like I said, like and subscribe while you could be one of the first ones that do it.
And comment and let us know what you think about the world. I'm dying to know.
Yeah. Okay, well, we're going to go get in the sauna.
Hey.
Thanks for watching. If you made it all this way, you're a small percentage of the population too.
You're above average.
Yeah. Okay, goodbye.